A Tempe woman convicted of killing her own 2 children with a meat cleaver.
Yui Inoue was sentenced to 2 life sentences in prison for killing her kids, Mia and Kai, back in 2021. The I-Team's Erica Stapleton has been on this case since the beginning. And Erica, this was also a very emotional day in court.
Yeah, of course, Mark Tram, extremely emotional. Just thinking of the community that these children had and what ultimately would happen to them. You know, not just the prosecutor, but the defense attorney and even the judge said this was one of the hardest cases that they've ever had to work on. You know, earlier this year, Inoue was convicted of killing her kids, Mia and Kai. The murders happened nearly 4 years ago at the family's apartment in May 2021. Police visited the home hours before the murders when Inoue was apparently threatening her husband. Police then left, and prosecutors believe Inoue killed her kids with a meat cleaver after that police visit to get back at her husband because they were going through a divorce. The children's uncle spoke out at the sentencing, describing what it's like to see photos of his niece and nephew or find old cards from them, moment after moment after moment of grief. A principal at their school, Kyrene Del Cielo, even addressed the court, speaking of the void that these 2 students left behind. Inoue's defense attorney said the defendant had mental health issues and that she was involuntarily evaluated twice in the months leading up to her children's deaths. Through a Japanese translator, Inoue denied that her kids were dead.
My children are not dead. My parents have them. They are spending their time with my parents.
As an educator with over 30 years' experience, it is perhaps the most difficult thing I have ever had to do, trying to emotionally help and guide the staff at school, along with me and Kai's friends, was truly an extremely difficult thing to do. Although they were both children, I want this court to know that their short lives mattered.
Now, I'll point out that Yui Inoue actually waived her right to be at her trial. So she was not in the courtroom as the jury and other members in the court had to see autopsy photos, horrible crime scenes, photos from the horrible crime scene. And she did have to be here today when the judge handed down those 2 life sentences for murdering her children. And I'll point out, too, that some members of the jury that convicted her were also in the courtroom just to show the reach and impact this case had. For now, we are live in Phoenix. Erica Stapleton, 12 News.